To show you how powerful this is, that is with an 8-time scope. An 8-time scope. Alright, so hello gamers and welcome back to another video. Players in Phantom Forces are always looking for the most accurate gun. That's why no recoil setups are super big. People want to use a version of their gun that has the least recoil possible. But what if I told you that there was an automatic gun that had literally perfect accuracy? And that gun is called the DBV-12 with 30-06. I made a video about this a while ago, but I don't think a lot of people remember it because it was like a year ago. But basically, this is a full auto gun, but it doesn't have recoil. It is completely and perfectly accurate, which means if you can make up for all the camera recoil it has, because it's really just camera recoil, then it will become basically the best gun in the entire game. And it also does really good damage as well. It can 2-shot to the body and 1-shot to the head, and it's also automatic. So if you're really not that good at aiming, don't even really worry, because it's not like a DMR or something. It is kind of like a DMR, but it's more like a battle rifle. Just do keep in mind that it is kind of slow in terms of RPM, but for the damage it doesn't really matter that much, and it's also perfectly accurate. Yeah, you gotta keep in mind, like, it's actually not only perfectly accurate, but it's not a semi-auto gun. The Mark 11 is also like this, right? But you have to actually click the Mark 11. This, you just kind of hold down. And this is basically true with any setup that you run on this. It will just have a little bit more camera recoil. Skeleton grip will, I think, still work perfectly fine. But the main thing here is basically just the camera. The camera will go up, which is annoying, but it isn't really, like, real recoil, you know? Because it doesn't really have any inaccuracy at all, which is kind of dumb, I'm not gonna lie. If you're wondering what's going on here, basically how the guns work in this game is you have a couple of different statistics that will help your recoil, and one of them is recoil recovery speed. Now, recoil recovery speed is how fast your gun goes down after it shoots. The DBV 30-06 has a little bit more of the camera recovery speed stat than it really should be getting away with, which basically allows it to come down after every single shot without firing a second shot. Which most guns, they don't do that, you know? Most guns will actually keep going up because they haven't finished going down yet, and this gun just doesn't do that. That's why it's actually perfectly accurate regardless of the range. It's because it will fire, come down, and then fire again. It won't fire and then start coming down and then fire and then just keep going up like a normal gun in this game should and would. Because I don't think this is necessarily a balanced gun in that aspect. The main thing that makes this gun so broken, other than the fact that it has absolutely no recoil, is that it has such good ammo consumption because of the firing and 20 bullets that it becomes an amazing gun even if you're really not that great, because you can fire for so long. Like, I'm just shooting forever. And with the headshot, it can one-shot really far. And you can just tap fire it if you really wanted to, because it can one-shot. Just go for the headshots if you want to, but it doesn't have any recoil, so you don't even really got to tap fire at all. Overall, it's an amazing gun. How are you not dead? Okay. Yeah, I don't know, dude. It's like, when I miss with it, it's basically just because my aim is bad. If I put my cursor on the guy's head, they die. To show you how powerful this is, that is with an 8-time scope. An 8-time scope. And with this one, you do have inaccuracy, but it's not because of recoil. It's because of sway when you have a scope. That would happen with any gun in the entire game. But as long as you hold down shift, you have basically perfect accuracy. Not even basically, you just have perfect accuracy. That makes this gun extremely versatile because you can run any optic you want to and still have perfect accuracy because it doesn't have any recoil. And since it works really well at any range because of the RPM, the accuracy, and the damage, it becomes possibly the most versatile gun in the entire game. I think it might just be the most versatile gun in the game because it can one-shot up close, has 20 bullets, really good recoil, amazing penetration as well. I don't know why, but it has a lot of pen. I guess 30-06 does. But if you run like an ACOG or like a canted sight or something, it can become basically the only gun you'll ever need in any range. And yeah, the camera recoil is probably the only issue with it, but I don't really find the camera recoil to be that bad, especially if you're running like a red dot sight. But I am glad that it has that camera kick, even though it doesn't actually make it have any less accuracy. At least it makes it a little bit more difficult to like aim at people, because if it didn't have that camera kick, I don't think it would actually be a gun that should even be in the game at that point. It would just be so broken. But as you can see, it doesn't really matter. It's kind of just the best gun in the game. And this is actually going to be more accurate than the AUG H-Bar 22. It has a tiny little bit of vertical kick. This technically does have vertical kick, but as you could probably tell, it doesn't really. Hello, guy down there. You're dead. probably wondering what the highest recoil setup on this gun looks like. It's not pretty. It is still technically pretty accurate, but it's not as accurate. It does also lose your perfect accuracy when you run a full maximum recoil setup, which is inconvenient, and also the camera recoil is really, really bad, but it does aim a lot faster. Like, it does have amazing handling if you're using this setup. I just don't really recommend it too much, but still very accurate. Just not perfectly accurate, but it's still really accurate. But this is a retracted stock, a muzzle booster, a skeleton grip, and I'm using an 8x, and I just realized I wasn't using shift to steady, so maybe... No way, it's still so accurate. If we switch back to stubby... Okay, it has the extra RPM, and it still has essentially perfect accuracy. I do recommend overall you only run a retracted stock or a muzzle booster, but not a combination of multiple, because the camera kick becomes a little bit inconvenient. It's still accurate. It's still basically perfectly accurate. It doesn't really matter that much when you can't really see what you're shooting. Maybe not, but I guess you could use a lower zoom optic. I am using an 8x sight, which is pretty inconvenient. I think maybe VCOG muzzle booster folding grip tri-laser 30-06 might be the best one for me. This is actually the slowest firing automatic gun by a long shot. Used to not be back when the Saiga 12 auto conversion was an other attachment. About a 120 stud headshot killing range, 2,500 velocity, 2-shot torso at any range, 3-shot to the body at any range, 2-shot to the limbs to about 140 studs, 3 studs of penetration, and no recoil. But it shoots slow, so I guess it's kind of balanced, but not really. Going back to maximum recoil reduction setup, yeah, I just kind of like having less camera kick because it doesn't really matter because the gun is perfectly accurate, but it's kind of helpful to like know what I'm shooting at when I'm using a higher zoom optic. But like I said, you could just run a reflex or a coyote, but I kind of like, I just wallbanged them. Running an 8x sight is so fun because it works. It simply works. With a 8x zoom optic, you could probably run a 40x and still hit stuff, which is ridiculous. This gun is a masterpiece of why you probably shouldn't put automatic rifle conversion on a shotgun without really thinking of the ramifications of changing the stats, because if you have a gun that shoots this slow, you gotta make it have like really bad recovery speed if you want it to have recoil. They didn't do that, so it doesn't have recoil. Maybe it's supposed to be this way, but I don't know if it's supposed to be this accurate. Like, I guess it could be accurate, but like not this accurate. I think what they should do is basically make the recovery speed a little bit worse, enough to make it have overall a tiny bit of recoil, then make it have a little bit less velocity and pen, and a little bit worse ranges, and it would probably be a really good gun with still a 1-shot to the head, but not what it is right now, which is kind of just a ridiculous work of art and kind of a lesson in game design, I'd say, because you don't want something like this to make it into the game, unless they did, and I don't think anybody's really talked about maybe nerfing this. It does fire so slow that the TTK is technically not amazing because it only has, you know, 194 RPM and a 2-shot, which it says it's 0.00, which is true because you can 1-shot, so technically speaking, it does have amazing TTK, but for body shots, not so much. It's gonna be like super weak in terms of TTK. But yeah, if you guys did enjoy, make sure to like and subscribe if you're new, and comment down below what you guys think about this gun. Is it too good? Does it need a nerf? Does it not need a nerf? And comment down below if you've used the gun before. But yeah, if you guys did enjoy, like I said, like and subscribe. As you can see, this gun can 1-shot, which is kind of crazy because it's a little bit too good. Okay, see you guys. Have a nice day.